Good morning. Because of the pandemic crisis, nonprofit organizations and charities are experiencing lots of difficulties. And recently, Canadian government released a fund, $350 million fund named Emergency Community Support Fund. They announced the fund a couple of weeks ago, but it wasn't active so far. And it's going to be activated on Tuesday, 19th of May. And I would like to inform you about the objectives and the application process of the fund. So the total budget is $350 million. And the objective is to improve the ability of community organizations to serve vulnerable Canadians. And three intermediary organizations are authorized to distribute the funds: United Way, Centraid Canada, Canadian Red Cross, and Community Foundations of Canada. You can find more information on the official website of Government of Canada, but I will try to summarize the content of the grant. 19th of May, which is Tuesday after the long weekend, is the official start date of the fund. The objectives of the fund are important. So you need to adjust your proposal to the objectives of the grant to be able to award it. This is nature. So I want to highlight the objectives of the grant, and you can adjust your project proposal accordingly. Home deliveries of groceries and medications. This is important. Scaling up helplines that provide information and support to vulnerable Canadians. Helping vulnerable Canadians access government benefits so you can facilitate this process for the beneficiaries and community members. Providing training, supplies, and other required supports to volunteers. And finally, and this is a very brilliant objective actually, replacing in-person one-on-one contact and social gathering with virtual contact through phone calls, text, teleconferences, or the internet. So if your organization was not ready for the virtual operations, this is a good opportunity to apply for funds and modify your infrastructure. As I said, there are three authorized organizations, and each of them have slightly different procedures for the grant applications. I also put their website for your convenience, so you should visit their website and check if they have any further requirements. The intake method for United Way is local intake through United Way agencies. Only qualified donees, including charities serving vulnerable Canadians, are eligible. And decision-making will be made by local United Way agencies. You can get in touch with local agencies and get more information. The next partner to distribute funds is Canadian Red Cross. Their intake method is national intake through Canadian Red Cross. So it's a kind of centralized intake. Eligible organizations are all nonprofits serving vulnerable Canadians. So I want to emphasize that it's not only charities or approved donees, it's also nonprofit organizations serving vulnerable Canadians. And the decision-making will be made by the centralized organization. The next and the final one is the Community Foundations of Canada. Their intake is national and local intake through Community Foundations of Canada. So as you know, we have local community foundations, and they are authorized to distribute certain amount of budget in their areas. The eligible organizations are qualified donees, including charities serving vulnerable Canadians. So it's not clear whether nonprofit organizations are eligible for the funds through Community Foundations of Canada or not. You should check their website when they share more information. And the decision making will be made by local community foundations. The selection criteria, this is where your application will have a chance or not. So first of all, it has to address a need caused by COVID-19. So this is so simple. Serves one or more vulnerable populations. And it has to be carried out in a short time frame. I'm not going into detail, but you can pause this video and read all explanation, or just visit the website of the Government of Canada to get further information, or contact us. The focus groups are seniors, persons of disabilities, veterans, newcomers, refugees, women, children and youth, LGBTQ2 people, Indigenous people, racialized people such as Black Canadians, persons experiencing homelessness. So shelters are perfect candidates for this fund. Persons living in remote or rural areas. So if you have any service for rural and remote areas, it's critical to deliver services now because of the COVID-19. They have difficulty in accessing to services they could have accessed in the past. Persons from an official language minority community. And I also would like to emphasize how you are going to follow the process for the grant application. You need to come up with an idea that is aligned with the objectives of the grant. The second phase is to convert it to a project format, which includes the scope, the timeline, and the project and the budget of the project. So scope, timeline, and budget. So there is no pronounced budget limitations. We don't know what the limit is. And of course, it will depend on the size of your project and the impact of your project. But make sure that you have these three items clearly indicated in your grant application. And once you prepare those plans, then you can do the grant application. Thank you for listening. I hope this way I will be able to help charities and nonprofit organizations during COVID-19 pandemic crisis. If you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to contact us. We are a social enterprise, and we are happy to help nonprofits and charities. Thank you, and have a nice day.